depends on where they're at. I mean, if we're in a travel situation, generally we'll make one or two visits on site, and I'll do everything else via WebEx or Zoom or Teams. Um, but I generally like to be in on the very first call that a salesperson has. And I'll just sit in the back, kind of be a fly on the wall, but I like to have that context going into a discovery call. Um, in instances where I can't be on that first call, I generally will have a pre-discovery call meeting with the salesperson. They'll line me out on questions they've asked, what the customer's looking at, um, and I like to know things. Like, do they have budget? What kind of budget do they have? That sort of thing, because it's all going to make a difference on how I pitch the product, right? Because we may have multiple levels of products. One customer may be able to afford the Cadillac, but the other customer just wants a mid-size sedan. And I don't want to over pitch the product into an area uh, where the customer can't go, because that can be a very frustrating thing for a lot of customers. So I want to know kind of where they're at financially, uh, what sort of features and functions that the salesperson has gotten from the customer, and kind of what their level of interest is. I also like to get information around about personalities. We've got a CIO and a CISO and a director of operations, and they're all going to have different personalities. One guy may be friendly, one guy may be really staunch, while the other guy is kind of aloof and stays in the background. So kind of want to know what those behavior patterns are going to look like out of those different people that I'll be meeting with. And then, also, if the salesperson had an opportunity to meet with any of the actual operations team, the folks that are putting fingers to keyboards, I want to find out what he knows about those guys on that team as well. Beyond that, that's most of the preparation that I can do. And generally speaking, when I go into the first sales call where I'm like a super active participant, it's around discovery or demonstration. And I generally try to have that discovery call a few days before we go into demonstration, just simply so I have time to process everything that the customer tells me. And I can make sure that we're going to demo the high points that the customer really wants to see. Most platforms that I've sold in the past, whether they're firewall, SIM, SOAR, or anything like that, they're way more functional. They have way more features than you can show in a 30-minute to an hour demo time frame. So you want to make sure you hit the high points the customer really wants to see. And if you get done with that in time, you can always discuss some of the other stuff that customers want to talk about as well.